Já estamos aqui na fazenda do sandalwood, é sândalo, e foi dividido em grupos e agora a gente está indo já para o nosso primeiro grupo, para nossa primeira parada, onde eles vão explicando e a gente vai conhecer todo o processo da extração do sândalo e do processo do sítio sil.
When did you get here?
Okay, I want to get right up there. He does.
Yeah, this is your sil. Sítio sil.
Hello was the first and then trying to engage more of what's going on. And we thought, well, we'll have to ride with some friends. Here. I forgot there's eagles.
Yeah, but I think we can swing wide too.
Yeah. Just waiting for everyone to get here.
Is that your tour dog?
What's his name? Sure. Pebbles. This is her name. Her name is Pebbles. She's a good dog. Very friendly.
Is she the farm dog or is she your dog?
It's my dog.
Does she speak Hawaiian?
My name is Ryan Lee. I am the youngest son of my father, Wade Lee, who is the co-manager or co-owner or the owner of this mountain, managing member. So the first question I was asked is why we're called Haloa Aina. So the legend says that there was Papa and Wakea. Wakea was Mother Earth, Papa was Father Sky. They had a child. Their first child was called Haloa, but he came out deformed and was in a bulb-like picture, like a kalo plant or taro. And Wakea, she wept and wept and wept. And as time went by, Papa and Wakea had a second child. They called it Haloa 2. So there's Haloa 1 and Haloa 2. Haloa 2 came up to the bulb that was his brother and picked up and noticed things were growing, like koa plants and iliahi plants. Iliahi is also known as sandalwood. So he caretaked his brother. So we like to be that same nature. Haloa Aina is the caretakers of the land. The long breath of the land is what it means in Hawaiian. So that's why we're called Haloa Aina. We are first and foremost a reforestation project and program. So we try to do that, everything. That's why we're organically certified. Everything that we do is for a purpose. When you guys are going to your planting today, you will notice that you're not just planting sandalwood because it's a much diverse species that needs to be planted. You can't just plant sandalwood. Sandalwood is a root coppicing, hemiparasitic, symbiotic relationship with other plants around it. So for every one sandalwood tree, you need at least 5 hosts in its lifetime. It'll kill 5 hosts. They're like the vampires of the forest, if you will. And it can go up to 100 meters around the tree. You can have a root coppicing or suckering growth. So every time we cut down a tree, we'll come with an excavator, we'll rip out its roots, and it will replace itself and propagate 20 to 30 new trees in place of one tree. So it's much more vigilant for us to plant other species, not just sandalwood, because we're always in the learning and research and development project. So we're trying to figure out what plant does the best. Koa trees, the acacia, is part of the acacia family. It's also known as a legume. Legumes are any potted plants. But these trees are very significant for our rare dryland tropical forest, which doesn't make any sense. It's kind of oxymoronic. But if you notice these leaves on the koa tree, it has a sickle leaf. So what happens is we have lily noi that comes through every evening around 3-4 o'clock. Lily noi is also known as heavenly mist or a fog bank. We just like to be cool and call it lily noi. But here, if you notice the sickle cells, the sickle leaves the fog will come through and it will literally rain underneath that tree. But they're also the best we're finding out that this is one of the best hosts for the sandalwood tree because it's a nitrogen fixing of the land, and every plant needs nitrogen, but also the roots grow far. So it's all top roots. Sandalwood trees, after their first year of growth, they lose all of its root hairs and they never grow a tap root. So they need to be paratized or have a symbiotic relationship. But it goes both ways, because now this koa tree won't have to worry about like the koa beetle or koa moth, because in sandalwood it acts like almost like an insecticide. But we need to get you guys up to the education center. So we'll continue on. So we have a koa mixed with sandalwood, a koa next to it, mamane. So we're trying to grow multiple different species, but the main goal is we're trying to figure out what it takes to get to that koa tree. Normally an established koa tree outlives a sandalwood tree in proper conditions, but that's what we're trying to get to. But it's all... We are a company... I'll wait till he gets here. I'll have Brother James out here. I'll just talk to him about the root ball. Hope you guys all had the pleasure of meeting my father, Mr. Lee. We walked right by him. Yep. This is our chief engineer, James Montgomery. Pleasure to meet you. Glad you're here. Thank you. So this is one of many steps that we have to take to use all products, as we're a zero waste policy company. So we have these root balls right behind you. This is how we get them after we cut them off of the tree, after we pull them out of the excavator. This tree, it has to go to this section right behind you where it's been pressure washed. The pressure wash water is from the stills. It's the hydrosol from logs and dead wood. The root ball hydrosol is sourced to you guys. So basically, the hydrosol that you guys have been washed with hydrosol. The root ball then has to be cut, and we have to remove all the rocks and get to this section after it's been split. So we get it to there, then we have to split it, chainsaw it, then we have to chip it. After we chip it, we have to granulate it. So this is just many steps in a process. And this is probably the hardest of all products to maintain, because you don't want 90%, you only want 10% or less of bark left onto the root ball. When it's all going through the chippers and granulators, it gets a lot of processing that's done. But this is one of our processing steps. And probably the most significant step, because we get the best oil out of these products.
So you're sitting at the root ball station. So the root ball is in the ground. We come along and we have to take the trees out. So you're sorting here in the root balls. There's mixed logs, what we call, and then we debark them up there. There's also dead wood, which is a dead and standing tree that stands there for its lifetime, and the bark falls off. Now you'll see a sample of that. So we're sorting for different reasons, because the oil content, like Ryan was saying, is higher in the root ball. It's also denser. So the distillation time to do a root ball to actually get the essential oil, you're running this anywhere from 36 to 40 hours to extract all of the oil. Wow. And as you go up the tree, the heartwood, which is in the center of the log or in the tree, it goes up, but it also tapers down. So majority of the oil is in that heartwood, and you'll see it off and on. We'll point it out to you as we go. There's sapwood on the out, has a ring, and then you come in and it's a darker inner heart color, and it's really got pungent smell. The thing we have to do is the distillation time of the logs might be 16 to 20 hours. The dead wood might be 12 hours. So then in the end, we combine all of those distillation oils in our inventory to give you back the whole tree essence. But for us to try to put in a dead wood along with something like this, you're not extracting efficiently out. So our job here, this is called the landing zone. So we do all of the sorting that comes in of all of the logs, mainly right there. And so root balls is just one of the stations, and we'll kind of go through. But any questions? We can. Fungus or grass growing in it. There's, you'll start seeing the rings. What I was talking about. This is a heartwood from a small tree or a branch. The rest of it is sapwood. So when we come in and cut, root ball goes there. We sort by size, and then we go to our debarker. And then we're debarking everything quickly, which was before we had men sitting here with axes, chopping and getting the bark off. That unit there, got it from China. We can process the wood in about 10 to 15 minutes and stockpile. Then we're going to chipping, and it's all it is just from here on out is just a size reduction of the wood to be able to be distilled. So the chippers are your standard bandit chippers, and so we'll bag it here with these mixed logs and then do a run. So the run that we're running right now is mixed logs, and we started yesterday about 11 o'clock. It'll run probably about 20 hours.
This is my mom, Lillian.
Hi, Lillian.
She's the mother of the land.
Aloha.
And this is an example of the deadwood, which is the standing tree normally, and all the bark ends up coming off. The heartwood in that tends to be a little bit, it has a different smell because the tree has actually died and decayed and it's holding all of the oil. So it's the variety of the oil all gets combined back, and all of the composition of the tree is back in the oils as you'll see in the process. Let's head right down here to more
Granulation. In the education center. There's a little store in there. There's a bunch of shirts inside of there. So, yeah, you guys are the first here.
This granulated job is to get the size reduction of the chips down to this. And so then we bag this product up and we fill 5 bags to go over per week. And the products that come off of this, we cannot allow any of this powder into the distillation process. Meaning being is that if this dust is within this and it's encapsulated and you're seeing those stainless steel torches, the dust does not allow the steam to percolate up evenly. And so it's called caking. And so then that steam causes that to go around. It'll find the easiest path. So we have to remove about 2% of the dust that's in these bags to give you a good clean product. And then we turn it over to John and Dre for distillation.
How do you remove it?
We remove it by through this granulator. It has a suction blower to a pipe and a siphon. Ryan is sitting right there. It's a real fine powder that you see, and it's used for masks and swabs. It's a skin astringent and really good for you. The dust collector is pulling off this size product here and giving it clean. From here, we then go screen this, and we will get some recovery back to our system because we want 100% efficiency of fine removal. If there's large products in there, it'll get screened to the back. As we're screening, now we get you'll see incense powders and different grades being sold here and displayed. So this is the main 2 bulk products, and again, there's hardly any bark in there. We're looking for 3/8 minus what that machine is doing.
It's what we do. We take turns. It's a long process. Anyway, it's very noisy in there. but it's very volatile also. It's a lot of the steam is at 280 degrees Fahrenheit. So you don't want to be bumping against anything or, you know, wandering off. That's going to make it a problem. Of course, when we have big groups, we do have wandering people, so be careful when you're in here. The system is to the end of its run. Andre started this yesterday at 2 o'clock. So by 2 o'clock today, it should be pretty much complete. Yeah, and I'm not going to let anybody up on the top. I've tried that before with 8 people at a time, and it always became 28. So the idea is that this is very volatile. We're going to go down this side wall, and we're going to show you the oil itself and how this system works. We'll show you what the hydrosol is. I don't know if you've all seen the hydrosol is very, very high quality. As we go, these are what we call torts. And we have 2 big 40 horsepower boilers on the other side, in the other building. And it pumps in the steam at 280 degrees. So all of those pipes, all are very, very, very hot. Okay, and so the steam comes in under the tort, goes through the chip, right? It's right through the chip, the product, and it comes out the top. Now, when the steam goes through, it carries out the oil in the vapor. And then it comes down this pipe and it goes into that tube, which is a condenser. It chills it down. It's liquid cooled inside, so it turns it back into a liquid. It's then deposited into that funnel-looking cylinder. We call it separator. It goes in there as a liquid, very hot liquid, but it goes in there as a liquid. What happens then? The oil separates as it cools. The oil cools to the top, and hydrosol goes into the tank. So basically, we're going to go this way. Now, it's going to be very hard for everybody to hear. But as we go along, it's a very narrow corridor.
You know what you're doing.
Clear. That means it's coming to the end of its run. So when it clears up like this, you'll notice that some of them vary in color and clarity. But this is the end of a run. This is a very good, clean system right now. I will draw some oil out just so you can see. This is our, I can make the tide move up and down, right? And this is hot. So we don't want to get any water in it. So that's why we have to be very careful when we harvest this. We take and we leave about this much. And we take it in slow so we don't get water in it. It takes longer to process. And this is what we watch. We also got to watch that we don't overflow, correct? So you see how it sucks it down. I can raise the tide. It'll go a little faster. This oil is taken out and it's weighed, and then it's put into what we call a bath. And that's in this building here. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is a good pull. It's a good run. The oil is clean. It's beautiful. Anyway, this is a long process to drain them all and then weigh it and then get it into the bath. Before the data was not very clear. Between Andre and I, we have figured out all the formulas we need to be super accurate with this. Anyway, so it does come up, comes back down into here, and it comes from here as a vapor. These are here just to keep the dust out, because we did have a problem with that before. When it gets windy up here, it gets windy. Anyway, so over here, we have buckets, and they're all the same. So you can check out the oil and the clarity. Yes. Sandalwood is in which one of these? Sandalwood is in all these portions. The small one is like the radiator. We got one.
back down when it comes out. Beam is here. On the other side, we have big wood. Yeah. From here, yeah. From here. Once you get pressure on it, come back up. The oil will come up through there. Okay, so anyway, this right here.
This is hydrosol right here. If you look at it, when you look, you want to see the oil.
Yeah, I separated it. Yeah. And at the top is the oil.
The system may run 2,000 gallons of hydrosol.
Yeah.
Very high right here. You know what?
Oh, smells so good. Aqui é o que, Tite?
É onde eles processam o óleo.
Ah, ok. Eu tava lá atrás, não deu pra ouvir. Cheiro. Yeah, it smells so good. This is Yang Lang too.
Yeah.
Hawaii Nani and Yang Lang. And peppermint in Hawaii Nani. It's different. Nice. I think so. He said outside, yeah.
How much are they?